too cheap to pay for full Google Meet right now as well, so don't worry. Not a worthy expense.
Yeah, I had Zoom for a while, but that was quickly became a waste of money. But yeah, Dan, like anything else you're interested in? Like I don't know, like I'm definitely not an expert on all this stuff, but I have a pretty good understanding on like a lot of the image generation stuff, and there's a lot going on with that stuff right now. And then
I'm kind of curious. Yeah, can you show me some of that image generation stuff? And I get what you're kind of saying earlier before we got cut off about the implementation. Like, it can be kind of difficult because I know you need to get like snippets and codes and stuff like that to connect it, and that can be a pain in the butt to find that information because it just is.
Right.
But it's. I was really impressed with the ease of use. Like once you implement it, now you're using the workflows. If anything, what's that one called? Speech, the speech one. What's that application called?
Called 11 Labs.
11
Labs, yeah, and it does really good text to speech. It's in terms of business applications. There could be creating promotional videos, because you could automate that as well instead of having to have someone read a script or pay a voice actor to do it.
And they also do the translation as well, right? Elevate.
That one does translation as well. Yeah. I haven't found as much use for that one. That one's more just fun to like have, Cal. That was one of the things on the wheel. We would like have GPT create a, dystopian futures, whatever scenario, and then run it through the text to voice and have it like read back,
Right.
And, something fun that I suppose someone could do is like, you could create AI dialogue, right? Create an AI dialogue, both, in audio form, and then you could create a podcast and like 24/7 stream this is, two robots talking to each other or whatever.
You should totally do that. That would be so funny. I know Instagram. Some people have created Instagram influencers completely out of AI. These attractive women that are completely generated, and they've got millions of followers, and they're doing the same kind of influencer stuff to make money. I mean, that's obviously not really anything we're interested in. I don't think. No judgment if you are, but that's kind of a fun thing to do. I know some streamers on like Twitch. Sometimes they use like an AI robot or like a anime character or something to avatar to stream as well. So I guarantee we're going to see a rise in popularity for that. So that'd be really funny to see two AI robots. Although it can devolve quickly, and I would love to see it devolve. Just salt and pepper a little bit of dystopia in there, just a little bit of evilness, and just watch them go down an evil rabbit hole.
Yeah, then like debate, communism versus, fascism, and just like, have them go at it.
I was pulling this up just to show you, Dan, because you're talking about HubSpot. So I was just seeing what Make.com can integrate with. And so you're saying HubSpot. So it has HubSpot here. Shopify. Trello. I use Trello. Stripe. Oh, wow. Stripe would be a good one. Discord. Oh, Brevo. Nice. We're actually using Brevo as well. Fascinating.
Sales. So what's Brevo about?
It's just to send out SMS or email notifications. So like through the app, if someone needs to say get their email verified or some sort of notification, Brevo plugs it in. The other opposing company you might have heard of is Twilio. Twilio is similar to Brevo or vice versa.
Okay, that's pretty cool.
Twitter, QuickBooks, interesting. SendGrid. Okay, SendGrid is.
Don't use AI to automate your taxes, people. I mean, maybe do it, but like, that's scary.
I don't know, man. I don't feel like that's one of the more difficult tasks that AI can't handle.
True.
I feel like taxes, if anything, would be one of the good use cases for AI.
Still have to review it though.
Yeah.
That's the key thing. because when it hallucinates, it's like just completely wrong. It's like way off. It acts like it's right.
Wait, you're claiming you're 100-year-old grandmother with 20 businesses, and you want to claim what?
Yeah, $10 billion in expenses.
Etsy, Knack. Wow, Make has quite a bit. I was also looking at Zapier here, just to compare. Zapier, like I said, is a very powerful one and is very common. The one downside, though, for the free version, I was looking here, they only have single zaps, they call them. So I'm assuming it's like you can only do one step. So if you get like one email, you do this. I think Make would be a good starter integration until you could really use it more. But yeah, Zapier has quite a few. Oh, wow. You can build an AI chatbot out of automation. Wow. And integrated solutions. Anyways, yeah, lots of sales
Yeah.
stuff too. And
That was one of my previous ideas that I bailed on because what was it, customgpt.com, and then now there's a bunch of other ones too that are just like so good.
yeah,
Way better.
you'd be surprised though how simple they are though, right? Like you and I know, like on the front end of things it seems very complicated, but we all know behind the scenes it just honestly customgpt.com is just some programming, but really it's just them engineering, prompt engineering. You know, they just learn how to prompt engineer. So, anyways, yeah, I thought you might have looked at Zapier already, but if Make doesn't do what you guys want, just consider Zapier. I know it's quite powerful, like building marketing campaigns. Well, you can read it for yourself. I just thought I'd throw it out there
Yeah.
as well for you now, since you're quite interested in automation.
No, this is amazing. Like, I guess my question too, Simon, like, how did you learn all this stuff? Like, did you use a learning guide or YouTube channel that you watched? Like, what? Or just kind of playing around with it, or?
Yeah. So usually I will just I'll just play around with it, and if I actually like have a project to do, like in the case of with these chat bots, like I built a no code chat bot and integrated it into a website that I was hosting, and then eventually had GPT just build code for that chat bot. That was all through YouTube, just video tutorials and ChatGPT, because that's one thing you can do is like troubleshoot your large language model with the large language model. So like, you were talking about this a little bit earlier in terms of just like providing more information and then feeding back on it. But you can actually, like, for example, and I have zero coding experience or knowledge, I was literally pulling all of the text from the developer console on my browser back into GPT to correct the code that it was making for me for this chatbot, this custom chatbot API that I built. And like, I got it working, and I even got it set up on an Amazon web server so that it was like my API key was protected. And then Cal crushed my dreams because he shared this company that had basically like built what I was trying to build, but built it 10 times better, and it was like had way more functionality, and it was like already on the market. And I was like, okay, well, fuck that.
But I don't remember this. I don't remember trying.
You mentioned it like in passing, and then I was like, you didn't realize that it was like, yeah, it was like what I had, because I
envisioned.
Yeah, because it was at that time it was brand new. But these guys, yeah, obviously they're developers. They way miles ahead of me, but it was just kind of discouraging. But I'm like, hey, at least I had the right idea, because now you're starting to see more and more of these companies come out with like these custom for businesses. Although the data security thing is a huge issue with it. Our company would never do it, but it's like train your own custom model on the company's database information, all this stuff, and have a virtual assistant, have like a co-pilot for your your employees, and have it be like your hub, like your does all your HR stuff, and it's like kind of like the Oracle of the company, right?
Right.
So that's like going to be huge in the next 5 years. But it's like,
I
unless you,
wouldn't write off. I mean, Dan's even the better person to talk about this because he's dealing with multiple startups every day from whatever field. But from my experience with developers, I know you're saying, oh, they've created this and that, but they are kind of separate from reality. Obviously, you get some developers who are very social that have been in different industries and kind of can have a vision of how to integrate AI into some sort of platform. But to be honest with you, man, um, they still need people who are actually in the industry to realize what those problems are. Like, especially in your agriculture industry, there's some very specific problems that they wouldn't know about. Why would a developer know about specific seeds or this and that? And like, so, and it doesn't have to be just in your agriculture industry. There might be certain things that we don't foresee, and so it's
Well, no, it's Cal. What Cal's saying is 100% true. Like, and this is me even before working with Catapult and even my own consulting firm working with engineers. It's just something I deal and know with. When it comes to like software engineers or engineers and as a whole, but very specifically software engineers, they're gonna give you. So when you ask them to solve a problem for you, they're gonna give you the step-by-step solution that works for them as an engineer.
mm-hmm.
No one thinks like an engineer, and they cannot fathom that nobody else thinks that way. For an engineer, which is, let's say, that the person or the engineers who built what we're looking at right now, Make.com, right? If it was just up to the engineers, this would be a 30 to 50 step process.
Right.
For everything you just showed me, right? Now, what you showed me earlier was you were moving around the icons and you can move around the flows and add things. That is where I would say like your expertise or industry expertise comes in, and you need to communicate to the engineers where it's like, hey, you gotta make this user friendly so like the average individual can use it, right? So same thing, like if you have someone building software for agribusinesses, which is a big hot topic nowadays, you can have an engineer who's gonna be like, it needs to be 30 steps. And you know that no farmer in hell is going to follow those steps.
Right.
Because to a farmer, it's like, this is dumb and it's a waste of time. And they need to be done 3 steps. But an engineer doesn't work that way. An engineer thinks that it needs to be complex and you need to see all the steps. That's an engineer's mind thinks.
Mm-hmm.
And they cannot understand that what simplicity, but that's dumb. They're not seeing the work behind it. This is a problem that I deal with engineers every day.
Mm-hmm.
Not every day, but usually most days, but it's like they'll spend 45 minutes explaining the science, and I don't care about the science of your. I'm sorry, I don't care about the science of your fucking product. It's not any money. Tell me how it works. But you need to know. Like, no, I don't. No, I don't need to know your 50-step process. I don't. That is useless information. But they play in that world, and they will refuse to move. The great ones.
Yeah.
Like a Steve Jobs, who was able to understand that simplicity is key, are great and far and free between. Yeah. The majority of engineers will never get there. They don't. They see administration, they see marketing, they see finance as a waste. They're like, this is the only thing that matters. They're purists to a T. Sorry if I'm going on a bit of a rant, but it's just engineers.
No, I totally get it, man. I always think about this quite a bit because there's always a disconnect and there's always a battle between the business functions and the developer, the software, the IT functions. Like, you know how they're always joking or the IT department's always joking how stupid the business people are, and then the business people always just those IT guys. They're kind of just a bunch of dumb nerds, and it's so prevalent, so much so that's why Silicon Valley's so different than say New York, and why they never get along. Like, Dan, dealing with the VCs are specific. They've come specifically from Silicon Valley. It's a Silicon Valley challenge or a problem, and they created it. And so the way VCs look at startups and tech companies is very different than, say, someone coming out of New York or some private equity firm, because they're different. I mean, in every single sense of the way, you know, a lot of the big name VCs and accelerators like Y Combinator and all of those guys came from a place of uh, resisting business. Like there's just this culture, especially in the tech world, of resisting business. So like the person that can bridge the two together is the true king, not the one that's on one end you get the finance bros who are just like, oh, let's just try to make a buck, and they're completely disconnected. Oh, and then you get the tech guys who are just like, no man, let's keep it, you know, open source, and they don't or they're you know overly idealistic, or they don't really think about um, the need of business functions. And I've dealt with a lot of potential co-founders and having to interview them, and I think the smart ones realize that they don't want to do anything to do with business and marketing, and they realize, you know, it's better that they, like Dan was saying, they just get a buckle in and get a focus on the engineering. And the whole reason I even brought this up to begin with, Simon, was, you know, I know you're saying the chatbot thing didn't work out, but I think, you know, and you know this already, but it was a good learning experience because now you know how it works in the back end. And so
Yeah.
if you want to build out something, you at least have a general idea of the API and the workflows. And when you're talking to someone, you can hire the right person or bring on the right person.
So can I just say something about that? I mean, I do gotta get going here in a second here, but
Yeah.
something I want to say about that. And this is something not from me, but comes from like my business partners out in Ontario. This comes from Art and Tech. They're like a startup. Maybe been around for like 4 years, but they're more of a business. Like the way they operate, they're more of a business. This comes from their leadership team, which is they're two 50-year-olds, both with an MBA, and one has a PhD. One was a professor, right? So again, level of experience of execution, they all everything know that. But what impressed me the most about them, especially Amir, and this is his story, okay? He was and what they do essentially is they built an ERP system for medium and small sized businesses for supply chain and manufacturing. And the idea came about because he was teaching it. He was teaching as a PhD student, a professor, to a couple of students. And one student came up to him and said, "Hey, you know what? I have this idea because I don't think this is in the market, and I really like what you're offering and your consulting and your experience. What do you think about this?" And I'm like, "Well, I think it's a good idea, but first thing before we do this, do me a favor. Go on Google and research how many companies of this exist. If it's a good idea or not." It's like, "Okay, I'll do that." Came up with the research. He said there's 20 of them, and the guy said the same thing you and Cal are kind of saying. "Oh, it's already on the market. We shouldn't do this. It's a bad idea." And then Amir said, "No, that's a great idea. We should do it because the proof of concept hasn't proven it works." Just because like you just don't need one Kleenex. I mean, that's a bad example, but you don't need one toilet paper. There's a bunch of different toilet papers. You just don't have one cup of glasses. You have a bunch of different kind of glasses, right? It's like if the first person stopped, sculpting pens or making a pen because one already made a pen, there wouldn't be like millions of versions of pens. Right, so that's the one thing that impressed me the most. When I heard that, I was like, "Oh man, I would have been like the opposite. I would have been like, well, that's already in the market. Why are you getting bothered?"
Yeah.
He was like, "No, that's great. That means proof of concept is proven," and that's something that I learned from him. And he's like almost at 50, 55, but that insight, right? That I think we all want to be first to market sometimes, and we're like, "Oh, it's a cool idea," and someone else did it. And it's just like, I'm like, well. Just because they did it, and you might say now they have a better workflow and all this or that. Well, doesn't mean that maybe it's not suited for the farm industry. Maybe it's not suited for another industry. Maybe they're missing a couple of key components. Maybe you could just build on top of that. Or even building like a simpler version of that, being like, you know what, they have too much crap that I don't need. My clients or the people that I'm going to focus on just needs this little bit instead of this whole round thing, right? So that's what I would say. Like honestly, I would keep building your chat bot. Like I'm just wouldn't stop because the proof concept is there.
Right. Well, no, it makes sense, and like I think in general as a principal, I respect that kind of perseverance, right? Where it's like, because you're almost never are you going to get into the market with that one perfect idea at the right time. No one else has thought of it. You're going to have to compete no matter what. So it's like, make it better, make it cheaper, whatever. I get that, and I appreciate that, because I'm like, I probably won't, just because like in this case, I'm definitely not a tech person. So for me, I'm realizing in hindsight now anyways that I want to leverage as much as possible where my skill sets are. And that's not, as a software developer, SaaS, because that would have been required more tech savvy, or have to outsource it.
Oh,
so
yeah, no, for sure. I get that, but definitely like just trying out the new thing and just going at it just because it's in the market doesn't mean it would stop, right? I get what you're saying and focusing on what you're good at. Like one of the things Cal told me that you're doing, and I don't know if you did this or not, but he's like, you did a whole like you used ChatGPT to write a book on agriculture or like on something like that, and then you posted it on, and you found the graphics and the imaging, and you did it and you posted it on Amazon, and you started like seeing it. I was like, that's cool as hell.
Yeah, well, there's so many opportunities like that. It's just so it's hard to know which one is the best, because I think they all have potential. So I kind of made my final decision based on, well, what do I like doing the most, and what is my skill set probably the strongest in, and speaking, having the content, was one of them. But yeah, it's you could do so many of these things now, like digital art and like digital design stuff.
Actually, yeah. Would you, before I get going, would you mind? You mentioned Canva. Would you mind showing me what you can do? Because I also have Canva. How do you tie with Canva? Because I've been trying to figure that out. I don't see that plugin for Canva. How do I make Canva and ChatGPT work together?
Oh, so Canva and ChatGPT. Oh, so I haven't. So there's actually a way you can generate YouTube Shorts in Canva. You just watched this video today. Through create, you get ChatGPT to create a table for you, essentially create a bunch of text in table format that you then copy paste into Canva for generating a bunch of YouTube Shorts. I haven't done that. I haven't integrated ChatGPT with Canva. I have like used them both, like the Midjourney or like DALL-E 3, like the image generation with, sorry, this cat's being weird, with Canva, in terms of like pulling images and then editing them with Canva. So
okay,
yeah.
So can you show me some of those, like what the steps are of how you do the image generation?
Sure. So and I think a lot of these a lot of these programs are now integrating their own AI. So now, like Photoshop, I was telling Cal today, Photoshop Express, you can use, it's called generative fill. So you can take an image, paint a certain area, add a text prompt, and say, I want a flying shark here, and it'll just like create a flying shark in your image. So that would be the best tool, Adobe Photoshop or Express, for like image manipulation. But for creation, I'll show you. I gotta drop this cat.
I thought Canva had a built-in AI image generator, Dan.
I think it does. I haven't used it. Yeah.
I wouldn't assume it's that good, but I know they have their own image generator too.
Yeah. So Cal and I mostly use Midjourney, which I still think it's the best one. Downside is now you can use DALL-E 3, which is apparently, as good, or in some cases people say it's better. I don't find it is, but it's free, so you have to pay for Midjourney. I'm just gonna shut off the recording because it's lagging me way too much.
I mean, sorry, don't you say you mean DALL-E 3 is free and you have to pay for Midjourney?
That's right, yeah.
Those are two different. DALL-E is one image generator. Midjourney is the second image.
So then, which do you guys use, Midjourney or DALL-E then?
We've been using Midjourney. DALL-E. One of the benefits of DALL-E is it's actually built.
I've been piggybacking off of Simon's account.
Oh, okay. That's quite confusing because you said you hate paying for it, so you're not going to. So I'm like, but you just said that Midfinder whatever costs money, so that's what my confusion laid.
Yeah. They just only recently did they release DALL-E 3 and say it was free. So I had already bought a year's subscription. So
Okay, because I think I have access, or I think we both have access to DALL-E 3. We have ChatGPT 4.
yes, exactly. And yeah, you can integrate it into those workflows too. Okay, Discord. Yeah, so I think the way I'm looking at it now is like they all kind of have their utility. Like Midjourney, I find is like good for any kind of like.
Sorry for the dumb question, but how would you even access DALL-E 3? I just read that I have access to it, but I haven't been able to access it.
So I think they're still rolling it out, like in terms of the integration with the OpenAI platform. So you might not have access to it. You might have to go to the actual site. I don't use it because I find it's the stuff I've seen from it hasn't been that good. But can you guys see my screen?
Not yet.
No.
Oh, okay.
You should be able to log in though, because DALL-E and ChatGPT are the same parent company.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I should be able to. It's just not letting me. It's some. And then I was able to log into this one thing, but it said like whether buy credits. I'm like buy credits. So.
Oh yeah, that's how DALL-E used to be. So you had to you buy a certain amount of.
Yeah.
I've got it in mine here.
Yeah. Same beta. Yeah.
Oh.
Image of 3 guys in Google Meets chat.
Video chat.
If it's the 3 of us, I'd be like, no, wait, no, it's too much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At that point, our reality
scary.
is simulation. It's over, guys.
This is brand new though. I didn't have access in my OpenAI platform.
That's what I love about ChatGPT. Every time we log in, there's like some new feature.
I just saw that this morning, like when I was using it, and I'm like, I thought I didn't even include it, and I'm like, duh, that's a new way of accessing it. But yeah, no, they said like ChatGPT 4 takes a bit of time, and it's like it's thinking.
There we go. That's us.
I guess you're African now, Simon. Sorry.
That works.
What if we were to write like, can you have 3 Google, same thing, but like millennials? No, what are we? Are we millennials?
Yes. You
see how they would show up. I'm curious.
If anyone, you'd be probably. No, you're still within millennial cutoff, right? Dan.
Me?
Yeah, because you're the oldest one here.
Yeah, I'm 39. Yeah.
Oh, I think you made the millennial cut.
Yeah, I'm a millennial. I'm not Generation Y, is it? Generation X?
Yeah, Generation X would be before us.
No, I'm not Generation X. I wish it was Generation X. That was a cool generation.
Well, so these are all generated by Midjourney, and actually I've been using a plugin through GPT. So this prompt, you can see it's like pretty detailed. It's using a lot of like technical image terms.
And you ask ChatGPT to do.
Yeah, I use that plugin too. No, I know exactly. There's a Midjourney plugin specifically to create better prompts, Dan. It's awesome.
Yeah.
You pull up the Midjourney plugin and you be like, hey, I need a Midjourney prompt to make it realistic, and boom, it comes out with this. It's amazing. So you don't even have to.
I gotta ask prompts. That's something I'm not even doing. It's asking to give me prompts for this stuff. That's fucking smart, guys. That's really fucking smart.
So I'll use the Midjourney to create images that I'll use then for like, the websites or like thumbnails for the YouTube channel, and then edit them in Adobe or edit them in Canva. There's some creepy ones. This one, my prompt was just massage from an octopus, and look at these like really creepy images we got.
Wow.
Very dark. The AI was feeling very, very dark that day.
Why does the AI go dark?
Good
Actually,
question.
A cool thing that I really had a good time doing was, I think I might have told you this, Dan, but we were in Vancouver and we're like, oh, let's kill some time. And so we actually tried to take some passages out of famous books and put them into Midjourney. to see what kind of images it would come up with, which I thought is kind of cool because you have what it looks like in your imagination, so does the author, and sometimes they draw pictures for you at the front of the book. But your favorite scene that you've always imagined all your life, you can make it come to life. And then so we started looking at poetry. We took Edgar Allan Poe, made that kind of come to life. And then we took it one step further. We actually went, hey, ChatGPT, can you create a poem based on the style of Edgar Allan Poe about baseball? Baseball and Edgar Allan Poe aren't the same thing, right? And so they did it in the style of baseball, or in Edgar Allan Poe. And then we took that and put that into Midjourney to see what it came up with. See if we have some of the photos. But it's just
I'm sure it's some dark emo goth baseball.
It was.
Yeah, he's Edgar Allan Poe is like the king of emos.
Yeah, exactly.
He's like the first. He was the first. He is the one.